Hello and welcome to Chinny Vision Extra. Chinny Vision 2. It's Chinny Vision 2. I've got to get the name of the channel right. Look, there's no intro or anything on here. And I've got some kind of advert going on at the top there. I don't know what is going on there. Make it stop. Make it go away. There we go. Right. I'm doing a special video tonight because there's been an article in a UK newspaper called The Guardian where they've ranked the 20 greatest home computers of all time. Of all time. Now, this isn't something I could do. I wouldn't dare even try and do it. How are you going to murder your darlings? What are you going to put number one? Well, if you put whatever you put at number one, the other lot are going to come after you. I'll be labelled as some kind of traitor to the Amstrad community. So I wouldn't touch this kind of thing with a barge pole. So on the one hand, Keith Stewart of The Guardian, or Keith, as he's known there. Now, there's his face. Could have done with a shave, but perhaps he's trying to grow a beard. Who knows? Or perhaps he's an unkempt person who lives in a shop doorway. No comment. Anyway, we're going to look at his 20 greatest home computers of all time. And spoiler, it doesn't go well. At number 20, he has the Dragon 32. Surprising the Dragon's going to make this list, to be honest. I mean, it's just a clone of a Tandy computer, basically. So why wouldn't you have that in there? Really? He put the Dragon on the list rather than Sam Coupe. It says there. Sorry, the Sam's lovely, but it ain't making a list of the 20 greatest home computers of all time, is it? Number 19 comes our first surprise. The Atari ST yeah, that's going to come as a surprise to quite a lot of people, isn't it? The Atari ST, now, he mentions a legendary digital music machine thanks to its built-in MIDI interface. The Atari struggled to compete as a games platform. Now, some people might argue the music side of things might be a little bit more influential than old Keith here has decided, and that it's going to rank below. Well, perhaps it justifiably ranks below the Amiga, but number 19, well, we see. Perhaps, you know, the Amiga's like 15, and there's lots of other computers above it that... Acorn Electron 18. Acorn Electron 18. The 18th best home computer of all time is the Acorn Electron. I don't want to disagree. It's like the Dragon. It's like the market has disagreed with you, Keith. The market said otherwise. The market rejected the Electron. It rejected the Dragon. No matter how many people like those machines, I've got an Elk. I like it. I don't really think it comes high up in many rankings unless you're actually going to be reaching for a computer to beat an Intruder to death with, because it's very sturdy and it's got quite a lot of heft. I have thought about this. If someone breaks into my house, the first home micro I'm going to reach to hit that Intruder to get him out of my house, it's going to be the Acorn Electron, and it'll be fine afterwards as well. Although if you've got one of the earlier ULAs, you might have to reseat it afterwards. ZX81 is 17. Well, that's a fair comment. The ZX81 is going to make any list. Scrolling goes a different way to my Mac on my little button there. It confuses me since I was going the wrong way. Follow up to the ZX80 bought home computers in the British high street stores, making this cheap, handy machine even more accessible to the masses. Fair comment, 17, have no issue with that. Number 16, the Texas Instruments TI-99. Yeah, I'm 16, 15 home computers. We know, I think of the old Sarah 880. I'm not editing this, by the way. I'm having to do this in one take. But yeah, I'm not thinking that is it's important. It is not. What's this article called? The 20 greatest home computers of all time. I'm sorry, but in terms of home computers, no one really, oh look, 14. 14. What a complete and utter... I put the fader down there. Unfairly considered the also-ran computer of the 80s, apparently by Keith here as well, the Amstrad was acclaimed on arrival thanks to its impressive specs and integrated design, which included the keyboard and tape deck into one stylish unit. Excellent graphics and sound, it was a good gaming workhorse, and many users cherished its outsider status among the Spectrum versus C64 Playground wars. Now, I'd expect the CPC to be a little bit... Number 13? Yeah. I'm sorry, I was talking about the CPC, then I saw it was number 13. I mean, it's a UK newspaper, so I'm assuming we're taking this from a UK perspective, because if we're taking it from a worldwide perspective, I don't know if, the Dragon isn't going to be in there right at all. But if we're taking it from a UK perspective, the Sharp X68000, how many of you knew somebody with one of those at school? How many were even in the country? None. I'm going to say none. It's not. If we're saying the Dragon and the Elk are in this list, and therefore this is a British-based greatest home computers of all time, the Sharp has no place in this list. This guy has just gone through Wikipedia and just picked out some random computers without knowing what the hell he's talking about. Number 12, the Apple Macintosh. Now, history says, and I've got a Mac over on my desk there, that I'll be uploading this on shortly, although I'm on my Linux box at the moment, because I'm platform agnostic here. History is defined by the winners. And today I have a Mac on my desk and a Windows PC. So the PC and Mac won. But the fact was, in the 1980s, the Mac was where you'd find it would be high-end kind of design-based offices, arty-farty type people with a lot of money and not much sense. Because really, I mean, if you used to read all the Future magazines in the late 80s and early 90s, Macs, and all those magazines were produced on Macs. Macs were all about desktop publishing and design, and that was it. There were no games to speak of, really. Most of the machines were black and white, even at Future. Only the designers had colour Macs. And, I mean, what's it saying here? It's, on the Mac, we first play the hugely popular adventure title Myst. Halo, no one cares about this. The computer also saw a thriving indie scene through the 80s and 90s, well, perhaps more 90s. 80s? Oh. It's got to be in this list, right? But I don't think it's in the list for the right reason, and I think it's more of a business. It's not really a home computer. Is it really, if we're being absolutely honest? Speaking of computers that were very popular in the UK, because remember, Dragon is in this list, Elk is in the list, the MSX. Now, MSX is in the UK. We all know there was a glut of them around 86, 85, 86, and then they just died. You had Mastertronic putting out a load of games, and then they just dropped it because no one was buying them. And, it's... What the MSX shouldn't really... Cough there, and remember, I'm not editing this, so I've had to put the fader down. This list doesn't know what it wants to be. It really does not. I'm not sure the MSX should be that far ahead of the CPC. Yes, it's got some influential games on there, but Dizzy started off on the CPC. All those French publishing houses that developed games on the CPC, Spin Dizzy, and so on. And I'm not saying... I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just finding this ordering baffling. Number 10. We have the Tandy TRS-80. It's an important machine. It's an important machine. It's not 10. It's not 10. It's more likely down where the Dragon is, because it was an early hobbyist home computer, but they've put it above the ZX81, which is nuts. Just nuts in terms of anything. Who is this article aimed at? I don't know if it's aimed at the international market. They're going to be going, Dragon? What's the Dragon? What's the Electron? I just think this is nuts. I mean, you may as well... Oh, you're going to have the Commodore PET in here. If you've got the Mac in there, presumably the PET's going to be in here, even though it's a business machine. I don't know. Commodore VIC-20, number 9. Fair enough. Absolutely. I've seen number 8. I've seen number 8, and the rage is rising. Number 9, VIC-20. Fair enough. Influential computer. Iconic. Yeah, fair enough. 8, the NEC PC-88. I does not compute. How? And they've got the BBC Micro at number 6, who no one outside the UK is going to know the slightest about. So we're saying, just, my mind hurts. This guy's nuts. I mean, I know they do these lists to be incendiary, but if I would find this list impossible to put together. I just would. And he asked me on a different day, I'd come up with a different answer. But I wouldn't be putting in the Elk and the Dragon and the ZX81 machines that are predominantly UK only in with the NEC PC-88. Atari 800, fair game. Fair game. BBC Micro, we will get the Electron in here, remember, so the BBC is getting 2 sucks of the SAV, as Dave Jones of the EV blog would say. Yeah, we all used played Granny's Garden, blah, 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 usual stuff. BBC Micro, number 6, absolutely fair. Apple II, number 5. Well, the UK had the BBC Micro, the US had the Apple II, and of course the US is more important than the UK, so what Keith has done is put the Apple II above the BBC Micro, because apparently that makes sense to him, but no one else. Oh, up to sensible things then. So I'm guessing this is going to be Spectrum, C64, Amiga, and that leaves us one more. Got a nasty feeling. Spectrum number 4, very UK centric, but are we doing a UK list? Are we doing a worldwide list? Who knows? 4 Spectrum, fair enough. C64 3. Okay. Which means the Amiga's number 2 and 1. And arguably, in terms of sales and success, I would argue if the Amiga's number 1 or number 2, the Commodore 64 should be one place of wherever it is, if you see what I mean. That's how I think the order of things is. C64 is more successful and I think more influential. We get a funny view of it in the UK and parts of Europe as well, because of course the Amiga had that initial bit in America and then did nothing. But again, what's our criteria? Keith, what's our criteria? And have a shave as well. Amiga's number 2. Amiga is number 2. The last truly great gaming home computer. Oh, great. We've reduced the Amiga to games. As he mentioned, Babylon 5. And, because that's what you're supposed... Oh, I've seen number 1. Oh, I thought I've scrolled down too far. And not just a little bit inside of me has died. A huge chunk of me has died inside. Let's just look at the Amiga and ignore what the nonsense we can see at the bottom of the screen. Amiga was a all-round multimedia home computer. The first one. The Archimedes isn't in here. I've lost all words. Yeah, Amiga number 2, I've lost my train of thought. And number 1, that famous home computer. That computer we all had in the 80s, you know, because we were all using, I don't know, ZX81s in the office or something. The IBM PC, a computer purely designed as a business computer. A computer you couldn't get really until Amstrad came along cheaply. They were offering $399 plus VAT for the PC 1512. A home computer so unsuitable that when Amstrad made a home computer version in 1988, the Amstrad PC 200, that was at the same price as an Amiga and ran on a modulator, the machine completely bombed because nobody wanted CGA graphics and that kind of under-spec thing for games because it wouldn't work. You needed £1,000 to do that. And really, the takeoff of the PC came about because the other home computers died. The ST and Amiga died back and consoles came to take over. So most people who wanted cheaper computers kind of went on to consoles instead. And we ended up with £1,000 machines that needed upgrading every 12 months. If even that, I mean, I used to get through memory and processors and all sorts with external sound cards, external graphics cards. Everything's a pain in the arse because, I apologise for my language there, because I can't edit this, so I'm really sorry about that, because I do try to keep it clean on Ginny Vision. But it's such a pain in the backside because the entire thing isn't designed to do it. It's just a kludge. It's a kludge of off-the-shelf components that just happens to work. It's not the greatest home computer of all time. It just happened to win the battle almost by default because it was in every office. Amstrad recognised this by trying to make the PC200 and by putting together in the early 90s all these packages with their Amstrad PCs that came with games and joysticks and stuff. Ultimately, the Mega PC, which is the ultimate admission that PCs are rubbish for gaming and home computers, because what you're saying is you've got this business bit on one side, but actually if you want to play decent games, you have to flick the switch on the side and play Sonic on the Mega Drive section, which is completely separate. And the greatest home computer of all time? No. It just happened to win. The winners write history. And in here, we've got machines like the Dragon, right, down at number 20, and so on. There's no mention of the Archimedes. I've got an ARM phone over there, I've got a tablet over there as well. I've got a NAS that has an ARM chip inside it. All of this stuff is a legacy of a genuinely great home computer, the Acorn Archimedes. Yes, it didn't sell huge amounts. I'm not saying that. But this moron has put the Acorn Electron in the list, which has had... It's just a cheap BBC Micro with a ULA. That's all it is. It plays BBC Micro games, but slower when they're coded correctly. This complete idiot thinks that's more significant than the computer that gave us the chip in our tablets, in our phones, in our devices, in my satellite box. Come on, Keith, you just... I know you're getting paid by The Guardian for doing this, or is this one of these commenters free things where you just submit your opinions and they publish it anyway? This list is just... They put these out for discussion. I know that. And here I'm getting worked up. But for goodness sake, can they get someone, anyone, who's actually got some knowledge and some kind of valid opinion, some interesting opinion, and a little bit of insight to write these lists? Because if you can't even get the Acorn Archimedes in here, which I would, personally speaking, I'll put it low down in the 20s and say, didn't sell a great amount, but, hugely influential, powerful computer that people aspired to own, but was incredibly expensive, and you're putting in the Dragon and stuff, and actually contemplating putting in the Sam Coupe. and breathe. Well, that's been a little light-hearted look at this article in The Guardian, which claims to be the 20 greatest home computers ranked by Keith Stewart. I'm sure you've got your own opinions, and they may not be as angry as mine. Feel free to put them below. As ever, opinions are like orifices. Everyone's got them, but you don't necessarily want to hear mine or see mine. But yeah, I just wish they would. I don't know. Archimedes. That's just a mission. That's just wrong. And Keith Stewart, you are a wrong person. Wrong. I'm not right. I'm a wrong person as well. But at least I can actually say that. I don't know. Archimedes, not in there. I'm going to stop recording now. Can I stop recording now? I'm going to stop recording now. Thanks. Bye.